In 1984, Research in Motion began as a small Canadian developer of connectivity technology. By 1999, they consolidated their early network engineering into a single handheld unit, the Blackberry 850. It featured a full physical QWERTY keyboard. For business professionals, it meant they could type emails rapidly and accurately while away from their desks, vastly accelerating the speed of corporate communication. Behind the hardware was the Blackberry Enterprise Server. This architecture routed messages through isolated, highly encrypted digital nodes, guaranteeing military-grade security for their corporate data. That infrastructure provided extreme reliability. When standard cellular networks collapsed during the September 11th attacks in New York, people trapped inside the World Trade Center were still able to communicate via Blackberry. By designing hardware specifically for the rigid security and productivity demands of corporate IT managers, the company created a cycle of dependency. Those IT departments then dictated which phones employees received, ensuring that Research in Motion controlled the professional standard for mobile communication. The physical footprint of that dominance expanded to match its global contracts. Research in Motion scaled into a massive international operation. Between 1999 and 2011, sales climbed exponentially, reaching $20 billion. In tandem, the stock price soared past $230. At their peak, they controlled 50% of the US smartphone market and nearly 20% globally. Across those markets, the total number of active subscribers swelled to 85 million worldwide users. The sheer volume of this financial return validated their strategy. Leadership concluded their closed, enterprise-first model was invincible, ignoring early signals from the broader consumer market. That broader market shifted abruptly in 2007. Apple launched the first iPhone, introducing consumers to a fully touchscreen interface. Apple bypassed corporate productivity. They marketed the device as a platform for personal entertainment, web browsing, and third-party applications. 1 year later, Google released the Android operating system. This accelerated the push toward open market application ecosystems, giving outside developers direct access to millions of users. Corporate employees soon began purchasing these new devices for themselves. Instead of carrying 2 phones, they demanded their IT departments allow them to use their personal iPhones for work, a trend that became known as bring your own device. When end users successfully pressured IT managers to support outside hardware, Research in Motion lost its primary gatekeepers. A business model entirely reliant on corporate dictates fractured under a mass consumer movement. Internal documents and interviews show Research in Motion executives initially dismissed the iPhone. They focused on its rapid battery drain and criticized its digital keyboard as inefficient for heavy typing. Co-CDO Jim Balsillie reviewed the new competition and insisted to his team that the company would be fine. This illustrates the architectural misunderstanding. BlackBerry operated a closed utility loop, while Apple and Google build open platform ecosystems. Refusing third-party developers, BlackBerry insisted their proprietary software was sufficient. While open platforms expanded exponentially, BlackBerry remained entirely isolated. The intense focus on enterprise security and closed infrastructure created the exact blind spot that prevented them from adapting to the new market. When they did attempt to compete, the hardware failed. In 2008, they rushed the BlackBerry Storm to market. It was an attempt at a touchscreen device that suffered from sluggish performance and severe bug issues. In 2011, they released the Playbook tablet. It shipped without native email or calendar applications, alienating the critical wireless carriers who had long supported them. Behind the product delays, the company's internal structure began to fracture. As leadership panicked over missed deadlines and sinking stock prices, the decision-making process gridlocked. In an attempt to catch up, executives split their engineering teams. One group was assigned to service legacy devices, while the other was tasked with building the new BB10 operating system from scratch. The internal friction paralyzed research and development. Employees protested the split, leading to mass defections and layoffs that gutted the engineering departments. Even with significant technical resources, the fractured leadership destroyed the company's ability to execute a unified product strategy. The corporate fallout materialized in early 2012. Co-CEOs Mike Lizardis and Jim Balsillie resigned, stepping down from the company they had led for 2 decades. This line graph maps the collapse. By the first quarter of 2016, BlackBerry's smartphone market share plummeted from its 20% peak down to 0.2%, flatlining at 0. Simultaneously, their global subscriber base evaporated, falling from 85 million to just 23 million users. To survive, the pioneer of the smartphone abandoned hardware manufacturing entirely. The company pivoted to a software and services model, retreating into automotive embedded systems and cybersecurity. Controlling 50% of the market and generating billions in revenue provided no immunity. The complete erasure of their hardware business proves that historic dominance cannot survive a failure to recognize shifting consumer behavior.